My distinguished colleagues, Honorable Minister of Agriculture, the Director, my question is simple and straightforward. But my question is to the Director who just finished his own presentation right now. You made elaborate presentation, but I think it's only in your last sentence that you even mentioned smallholder farmers. And for me, that is our interest here. All other explanation you made, the technical issues you mentioned, the financial, and the essence of bilateral partnership with Brazil are all important, but we are here because we are representing our people. We are elected here, and you are here simply because we want to know how will this program benefit the real farmers, that is the smallholder farmers. Of course, the Honorable Minister also mentioned that Kenya have more tractors than we have here in Nigeria. I'm a bit confused because I know we've been following the government spending in the last almost 2 decades. A lot of efforts have been put in the past toward issue of mechanization, but I must say here, without any fear of contradiction, that it has not actually benefited the real farmers. And we want to know, how will this program be different from other previous programs? That is one. Two, the Honorable Minister also talked about the way you intend to ensure that the real farmers benefit from this program. But my concern here is that you have not even been able to identify the real farmers. You talk about how it will benefit, or how it will go around the about 600 and something local governments across the country. I'm from Kaduna, and I know in Kaduna we are people that are actually very active in farming, particularly few local governments in my own constituency. But until this moment, I can only support this initiative if you are able to convince me how will this thing benefit the real farmers. Because in any case, we have been faced with a lot of problems in the past. We come with a very important program, just like the director just made a very beautiful presentation. It's not about the presentation, it's about the implementation. That is what the problem is. You can talk from now till tomorrow with a very beautiful presentation. But the problem is, I want to be convinced how this will affect or benefit the real farmers. In this country, we are not there yet. There's a lot of problems. There are a lot of bottlenecks. There are a lot of bureaucracy. So can you break it down? That is one. Two, you also talked about you have been able to reach to about some major manufacturers. Because when you're talking about not assembling, that is what happened in Ghana, in other countries. But I cannot see the difference. You are going to bring, you say, the parts here to assemble them. You are not manufacturing them in Nigeria. And the last time I checked, no country ever developed in the world without manufacturing. You know it very well. So what is the difference between someone bringing the parts here to assemble or bringing some this thing to assemble? It's all the same. It's only the difference is the way you put it. So tell me, can you also mention the factories you have been able to reach out to in all the political zones? Let me know how viable are they, what is the assessment of them, and who actually owns them, because we want this thing to be private sector driven. Government have not done anything and succeeds. We know it because of bureaucracy and interest. That is a fact. If we want to help people to succeed in agricultural development in this country, we must support the real farmers. My question here is, I am not convinced that this thing will actually get to the real smallholder farmers. Tell me, and I need more explanation with facts and figures. Thank you very much.
Mine is a very straightforward question. You talked about 780 service centers. In Nigeria, we have 774 local government areas. And from these 780, you have type 1, which is basically primary productivity and storage from your explanation. And then you have type 2, which is somehow processing of some of those crops. How do you intend to distribute type 1, type 2 amongst the various local governments, areas, and geopolitical zones? I think that's very important. Secondly, we know problem that we have in Nigeria, which is the problem of maintenance and sustainability. What measures that are going to be taken to ensure that these service centers, when they are established, they will be there. The private owners that will run them will make money so that they can pay back. And over the years, those service centers are not going to die, shortly after they are established. I think for now, those are the two questions I have. Could you please respond to
for the question? I learn from you now that you said this program will cover all the local government of this country. I know that presentation is very good for us in Nigeria to do a very fast presentation, good one. Now, as my colleagues have said, implementation is always the problem. Now, for this, are the local government, the 774 local government, are they aware of this project already? Because if they are not aware of this project, there's no way when you get, if we approve this project for you, that it will go down all the local government. Because it is only when they are aware that such project is coming that they will prepare for it. So that by the time you get the loan, they will kick off straight. Are they aware? If they are not aware, it is better for you to start the campaign now to know that, yes, this thing is coming. That's a question, whether they are aware of such a thing. Then two, the director was saying that the Brazilian people will come and establish the factory here and other, which is good. But in most cases, they used to bring to this country second-hand equipment, and they will dump them and go. How are you going to make sure that when they bring in this factory, they will stay and teach our people before leaving?
Farm given digital ID, the farmer given digital ID, we generated BBN, we generated national ID card and their telephone number. Out of this, we have already cleaned about 3.5 million farmers, and we are in the process of cleaning others. Registration is continuing, and I believe before the end of the year, we have a register of farmers of nearly 10 million farmers in this country. So we know where our farmers are now. I think, let me be very clear about this. We started this. Previously, it has been experienced, but it didn't work because people didn't work. That's the reason. So we know where our farmers are. I think the other issue is with regard to the director acquisition and management. I think when you look at it, a cutting across the board. Well, under the existing system, under the system that we are going to introduce, this is not going to be a problem. We are going to organize it in such a way, all the components of maintenance will be included. And I told you earlier that I visited a private holding association that is undertaking mechanization in this country. And they have organized in such a way that even the downtime is cut short by ensuring that at every level there's a maintenance system, and that's how these service centers are going to be organized. I think probably I will leave you the others, mostly technical issues, we'll deal with them, please.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Will they benefit? So that is question number one. And closely related to it, how do we identify them? That's the second question you asked. And I'll just build on what the minister said. Under the Economic Sustainability Plan, as Minister said, beginning 4th of June, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, using the current ADPs, and I hope Senator, who was an ADP manager, will just hear us out, that from June 4th, 2021, under the COVID-19, under the Economic Sustainability Plan, the Ministry of Agriculture organized and trained 72,000 ex-N-Power agro youths across every ward in this country. Second thing we did was to run them through examination and willing support, and 33,000 have been involved from 4th of June to today. Registering farmers, taking GIS coordinates of every farmer. Today we have farmer farm GIS linked registration. And this is how it works. Virtually we did the training because we know who the N-Power beneficiaries were from everyone. And then we layered two kinds of supervision. The ADP program manager, who were very happy because they've been sitting with no activity. And the ADP structure is the best structure today that has been established for grassroots involvement of farmers. So you have the PM, the project manager, and at every local government, there is what you call the master trainer. This structure, we deployed all the youth to be supervised by the ADP using their block extension, fortnightly meetings, what they used to do when World Bank was funding them, to make sure that they coordinate the youth. If you give us another time, we will return here on a presentation with a database, and every senator will call on in his ward, in his local government. We also have produced hard copy of this over 5 million registered farmers across every ward. Now we are continuing this registration until we get to 10 million. And the exit strategy for federal government is, we are already in consultation. Minister just sent a letter to all the state governors, 36 of them plus FCT, that once we hit 10 million clean records, we will transfer with the associated budget, and this is the advice from Minister of Finance also, to every state to revitalize the ADPs, give them the technologies, and allow them to continue farmer registration. Because we know 10 million farmers means nothing. There should be, on average, maybe 40, 50 million farmers. But at least today, we know where 5.8, almost 6 million farmers reside. Tied to the GIS, the good thing why we are so open to say this on television, when you key in the coordinates generated by Google Earth, it's like your fingerprint, so you cannot manipulate it. So if I say this is a farmer registered here, the coordinates, you can never change it. It won't take you to another land. So we have that all, and that database is available. Recently, the Chairman Governors Forum, Governor of Ekiti, the APC Chairman, Governor of Kebbi, the Minister of Finance and Minister of Agri have come to go over all of this. They picked and called, and the farmers responded. They called out the size of their land and what crop they farm, what livestock they keep, and they concord. So that data exists today. But what we have done with that data now, sir, to inform setting up of the service center, is that we've worked out the priority crops in every ward, using the GIS of close to 6 million locations across this country, to say, okay, so if you take this, if you spread this GIS, 6 million points, what is growing here? When you zoom in through live feeds, what is happening here? You know, okay, so truly this is a sesame area. This is a rice area, because at least 6 million sample size is good enough GIS data to inform. And that is what we are doing now, layering it to say, okay, in local government, this is the top 5 priority crops, this is the available land. Because, sir, to answer your question, the benefit to the smallholder farmer under this project is that, we departed from the old notion that federal government or state government should buy tractor, like the one distinguished senator said, that they, just hold on, just like what the distinguished senator said, buying tractors 300 by government or setting up service centers by government that are born, that is the old practice, and it will not work, it's not sustainable. So what we did is to make sure that what work does a tractor need to do to be profitable if it is a business? A minimum of 400 hectares per annum. Do we have farmers with 400 hectares? No. So what the farmers need, a smallholder farmer with 1 acre, is where he can go and request for service to to just prepare his 1 acre, and he pays whether in kind or in cash. So in this project, we now use the data available to us and say, okay, what is needed is take the old practice of agricultural equipment hiring units that used to be in every local government, but do it through a private management so that the person sells services to the immediate farmers. And for each service center type 1, there is a minimum of 2,000 households immediately that can buy services from that center. And we have also layered this data on farmers and the location. So the identification of the smallholder farmer, the ultimate beneficiary is for a smallholder farmer to be able to buy services, whether it's for plowing, for harrowing, for planting, or for anything, and pay either in kind or in cash. So that is A, we know where the farmers are. B, farmers don't need to buy tractor. Because for you to buy tractor and pay back the loan, you need to do at least 400 hectares of land every year. Our smallholder farmers, and I can tell you from 6 million entries almost, the average hectareage of a smallholder farmer in Nigeria today is about 0.3 to 0.6 hectares. That means it's about 1 acre to 1.5 acres. We don't even have smallholder farmers that own 1 hectare of land. They are all, from the data we have, they are less than between 1 acre and 2.5 maximum. So these people, they need services, not tractors. So the tractor side, the service center operator, is a private sector business. It is not for government to go and build service centers. They did it in the past. It's wrong, because who will maintain it? Who will make sure it's working? So now it's for our advice is to the private person and sell services to the smallholder farmers. Just like Minister said is happening with Tofan, there is Origin, there is Hello Tractor, there is Traxi. There are at least, we can list 10 or so people that are doing this today as their own venture. So this is clearly how this will work. So it is the role of government is identifying the smallholder farmers, aggregating the smallholder farmers, coordinating them to channel them to the service center provider who is in their local government. That is all. Federal government doesn't need to own tractor, government doesn't need to own, because if we say government should import the tractor, whether it's 300 or 3 million, first and foremost, only friends of government will be able to have access to this tractor. Because which farmer will come from a ward and buy tractor? So it's organizing a service center by a private sector, and we layer the data of farmers that can benefit directly from the service center. That is what we have done. On the issue of assembly, so the question is, when we say we are bringing CKD, what's the difference between bringing assembled tractor and CKD? Clearly, our economic analysis shows that in terms of job creation, first and foremost, let me say clearly that today, there is no such a thing as manufacturing where maybe Massey Ferguson is manufacturing tractors and it's Massey Ferguson. The game in the industry is assembly. So if you see a Massey Ferguson tractor today, there are at least 200 other companies along the value chain of supplying. So what Massey Ferguson has done is that I am Massey Ferguson. I invented Massey Ferguson brand of tractor. But I've noticed that the injectors out of Taiwan outperform my own and is produced at lower cost. And the harrows out of Jamaica is far better than the one I'm making. So it creates a web around the value addition, and therefore assembles, collects all the parts, and turns it into Massey Ferguson that you see. So if you